Everyone, call the meeting to order. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
We have the agenda before us. Is everybody okay with that? And do we have minute or motion for approval?
I so move this.
This is Arlette, a second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Motion carries. Minutes from December. Did everybody have a chance to read through those? Do you have a motion for approval?
This is Arlette. I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Prakash, I second.
Okay, motion and second. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. First on the agenda, we had the High Road properties, and I'm going to turn it over to the staff.
Good morning. In front of you is an application for a rehabilitation project located at 209 and 211 Northern Pacific Avenue. The applicant, Toby Comer with High Road Properties LLC, is renovating the existing building with new HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, as well as fitting up the main floor for an office space and a large condo unit on the second floor. The proposed timeline for completion is early fall of 2021. The application estimates a total capital investment of $2,115,000, roughly a $165 investment per square foot of commercial space, and a $257 investment per square foot of residential space. The applicant will be updating the existing building facade, adding more windows on the main floor, and refurbishing existing windows. And then on your screen, you can see here's a floor plan of the proposed office space and then the proposed condo unit. Based on the Renaissance Zone criteria, the project received a score of an 88 out of 100. Staff believes that this project will be a benefit to the downtown community and is recommending approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have some. Also, the applicant, Toby, is on the line and can answer any questions as well.
Are there any questions from any of the committee members?
Can you talk a little bit about the item number 1, the scope in terms of the score 14 out of 20, the somewhat low score. Can you explain that a little further?
Yeah, so this, as you noted, did receive a 14 out of 20 for item number 1. And the reason staff felt that was appropriate was due to the fact that this was a rehabilitation project. And so the applicant is working with the existing building footprint as is and isn't creating a new project either through demoing an old building or renovating an existing vacant parking lot in the downtown.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Arlette, and I know I'm new to this process, but that seems exactly opposite of what I had understood to be the purpose of a Renaissance Zone initially, was to certainly help save and restore older buildings. I was surprised also by the 14 out of 20. So if somebody could give me a little more history on that rationale.
Megan Elsag will explain a little further on our score.
Yep, and I think, good morning, Commissioners. I think one thing to note as well is that, as you know, with the new development plan update that was approved at the very end of 2019, we're still trying to get a good feel for how these projects with the new criteria are happening. So that is probably one reason we feel like it didn't score maybe as high. A couple of other things to note, growing as a neighborhood, I think with only one residence, ideally we would like to see maybe more residences, but we also understand that there's constraints of the existing building. And the fact that I think what Kylie was trying to say too is that with the existing structure being built on that property, there's really not room for any other area between the facade and the sidewalk. So for example, subsection G, playing with purpose, there's really no ability for the applicant to do any open space or stormwater management just with how the existing structure is on the property.
Did that answer your question, Arlette?
I guess it does, but the plan that you referred to in 2019, I looked to see if there was anything on the website. I didn't see any documents there. Is that posted there?
Yes, it is. It is posted on there. I will double check and make sure that it's easily accessible to find. That could be one of the problems, maybe.
If you could even send it out, and maybe everybody else has a copy, but being new, I don't have it. So if you could send it out, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, of course. I will go ahead and do that.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Chad. I have a question.
Okay, Chad, go ahead.
Thank you. To staff or whomever, the owner too. How are we addressing all the parking needs? Clearly, looking at the floor plan here, the residence seems to be taken care of presumably by the two-stall garage. But what I'm wondering is where the remainder of the substantive number of offices, where are those folks going to park? Thank you.
This is Kylie. The applicant did also purchase property to the west, 213 Northern Pacific Avenue North, and he will use that as a parking lot for the employees for the commercial space. That was excluded from the Renaissance Zone project just due to the fact that a commercial parking lot would not receive Renaissance Zone benefits, so we want to leave that property available in case it were to be redeveloped in the future.
Can you give me a hint? I'm looking at the aerial.
Mm-hmm.
Which lot did they buy?
I don't know if you can see my cursor. They purchased this lot, and so there's some existing buildings on there, and the applicant has let staff know that he is proposing to demo those buildings, and then we'll put a surface parking lot.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions? If none, do I have a motion for approval or denial?
Madam Chair, this is our last. I move to approve.
This is
Do we
Steve.
have
I'll
a
second.
Thank you. We have a first by Arlette, second by Steve Swantek. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor? We have a roll call vote. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Papcorn? Matthew?
Aye. Aye.
Swiatek?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Preston?
Yes.
Brashani? Mathern? Mathern?
we seem to have lost our chair. So can we move on without her vote, or what do we need to do?
Do we still have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And she's still on, so there she is.
My audio from back on
So Mathern?
yeah, my vote was on.
Okay.
Sorry, I took very long. Okay. Looks like motion carried, and then at second item.
The second application in front of you. The second application in front of you is for a new construction project located at 501 Main Avenue. The applicant, Matt Jorgensen, is proposing to construct a 6-story mixed-use building consisting of below-grade parking, 2 floors of commercial space, 3 floors of for-rent apartments, and 1 floor of for-sale condominiums. The proposed timeline for completion is spring of 2023. Overall, the application estimates a total capital investment of $21,500,000, which calculates to approximately $221 per square feet. The subject property has been a surface-level parking lot for many years, and the Renaissance Zone Plan identifies this block for redevelopment and infill mixed-use and commercial. Based on the Renaissance Zone criteria, this property received a score of 94 out of 100. Staff believes that this project will benefit the downtown community and is recommending approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The applicant, Matt, is also on the line, and he can answer any questions you may have as well. Thank you.
Matt, did you have anything to add?
I might just add that it's been a bit of a journey for myself and our team to imagine a project for this location. We've appreciated all the cooperation from many parties. This site's got a good bit of complexity to it, but we're super excited about it. Hope you share that excitement and look forward to activating this corner as kind of the gateway to downtown. So we're super excited about the project.
Thank you, Matt. Any comments, questions, concerns from the committee members?
Madam Chair, this is Dave Pepcorn.
Go ahead, Dave.
It's obviously going to be a great project. The other thing that's really going to be a bonus is the art. I believe you can see it on the right side. There's going to be a large art piece that we're looking forward to kind of being the centerpiece to our entrance to the downtown. And I believe our arts committee is going to be involved, and I believe, Matt, if you could talk a little bit, your group is going to participate as well, and I think that will set a great tone. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. We are excited about that piece as well. We've spent considerable time thinking about it, as I'm sure everybody on the Renaissance Zone Authority knows. Broadway broadens a bit as it comes to its intersection with Main, just due to the way alignments work. So it leaves kind of this nice green space that's been identified in both the comp plan and the downtown master plan as a great opportunity for both public art and a public space. So we're hoping to execute both coincidentally with doing this development project and have begun work with many of the people you mentioned, Dave, and others on what that can look like and how it might come together. Preliminarily, as we talk to members of the community, we seem to hear a lot of support and enthusiasm for that piece of the project as well.
Yeah, looks very nice. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, again, for the owner. I know this really isn't necessarily our concern because I think you meet code and beyond because we don't think you're required for parking. But I'm always skeptical of the number of units relative to the number of parking stalls. Are you comfortable with this as an owner? Obviously you are. It looks like a fabulous project for a very difficult piece of land, that's for sure. So give me your thoughts on the parking, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Chad. Been working with Jim and others for quite a while on that topic. I think we've got three approaches. One is there's 29 stalls underground, some of which are in condos, but others will be available for other use. We've got 37 or 8 or so on the surface. And then we're hoping to take advantage of that structured parking garage that sits between Wells and Bank of the West to the south and get a connection made to that and leverage that considerable capacity at a very favorable rate to augment the parking requirements for the project. It's kind of a happy serendipity moment to have that structured parking right next door.
Matt, do you know what the capacity is for that parking garage?
I don't off the top of my head. Maybe Kylie or Megan would know that. I have it somewhere, but not at my fingertips. So off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay.
There's 355 parking stalls.
Thank you.
This is our last, Madam Chair. I think that parking lot or that parking ramp is fairly underutilized, is it not?
Arlette, if I may, my understanding from Jim Gilmore is that it's utilized at somewhere between 20 and 25% right now. Megan or Kylie, you might have better information on that, but I think that's what I have from Jim as a rough idea.
Yeah, I don't ever see a lot of activity around that. So.
Yeah,
I actually parked in that ramp for about a year and a couple of months, and it really seemed as though the banks would have, it was kind of weird how every Wednesday or so the banks or somewhere would have a training going on, so all the staff from the area would come in and it would get sold out. But otherwise, the main floor and the first floor, I guess, and the second floor were always very busy. So, like I said, I guess if the question I'd have for maybe Commissioner Pepcorn is, it's a city-owned ramp, I believe. I'm not convinced that the city should subsidize this developer if he's asking for a quote favorable rate, but that's for the city commissioner to decide. I think, long story short, it's a well-used ramp, but so sparingly that I'm hard-pressed to think you couldn't get 50 or 100 lots or stalls dedicated to you. So, again, cool project.
Madam Chair,
Chad, I'm sorry if I... Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
So, Chad, that's a great point, and I think these last two projects bring up a great issue that we're requiring parking, and if you look, we don't want to have parking downtown. We want to have development, and so the parking ramp, that's where we want to have the people park. All those flat parking lots that you can see in that picture, we want development on, and so I think we need to relook at the number of parking spaces because the world is changing. Not everybody needs to have a parking space. We're going to have increased public transportation and also hopefully have more ramps like this. That's a way more effective way to park instead of if you look at that picture right now, that should all be developed land, not flat parking lots. That's just my opinion, and that's the vision for the future to develop all that picture that you see. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Steve, you had a comment?
I was just going to simply say I don't know that we're necessarily looking for any favorable rates. We just know that the rates as they exist in that lot right now are somewhat cheaper than maybe some other options. So we're excited about that because we think particularly apartment dwellers, they'll be attractive too. And I think Jim and the planning staff also anticipate that if somehow we're able to create a safe crossing or a skyway or some connection across Maine, it may become a parking lot that's a lot more attractive for people that aren't necessarily coming to the building we're proposing, but are just accessing downtown from the south.
Other comments, questions? Okay.
Madam Chair, you looking for a motion?
I am.
I'd
at
make a
this
motion
point?
to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
This is Prakash Matthew. I second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? If none, let's have a roll call vote.
Swiatek,
Aye.
Preston,
Aye.
Peterson,
Yes.
Pepcorn,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Mathern.
Aye. We have unanimous consent. Motion carries. Congratulations. We'll look forward to watching that progress.
Thank you, everyone.
Further business. Are there any public comments? Can't see any.
No, we do not have any public comments at this time.
Okay. All right. I'll turn it back over to you, Megan. Are you doing it, or Kylie?
Kylie, yeah. I think the only other thing staff wanted to mention at our last Renaissance Zone meeting, we had talked about, you were appointed the Brownfields Advisory Committee Board. And so we just wanted to let you know at your next Renaissance Zone meeting, we should have some more updates for your board regarding that, being that advisory board.
Okay, good. I was curious to the status of that. Any other comments or questions from the committee members? If none, it shows our next meeting is April 28th. So unless you hear otherwise, we'll talk then, and meeting adjourned.